Lando's in this motherfucker.
Yeah,
I mean, they're bringing Lando. This is what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm a Jedi guy, man, but Lando fucking Calrissian, homie.
Well, you don't. He doesn't need to have a lot of screen time. You know, his presence, it's already been felt. I mean, just in the trailer.
And what has the Playboy been doing?
He's probably been banging robots.
Yo, guys, what y'all want to talk about?
I want to talk about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
All right, guys, let's talk Star Wars.
Well, personally, I am looking forward to going into this movie knowing absolutely nothing about it. I intend to keep my Facebook ban in effect.
Because you're in Facebook jail.
Pretty much.
Right.
I do not want to get spoiled, even though I really know that inevitably it's going to happen.
Here in the next few minutes. Yes.
Exactly. Fuck. Okay.
So just an alert for everybody out there. No confirmed spoilers are going to be talked about today, but we will talk about theories. We're going to shoot the shit on some personal beliefs of what might happen. If you're not down with that, might want to go ahead and pause the video, change the channel, whatever you got to do, because we are going to jump right into the shit right now. All right, so we just watched trailers 1 and then the D23 special look. Matt, first thoughts.
So it's apparent with how Disney has been handling Star Wars that everything they show is not actually what it will be. The biggest thing here is Dark Side Rey. I want to believe she goes full dark side because Disney needs to stop being such soft about it and just go ahead and go out with a bang. But it's obvious that this is a complete dark side vision, like we saw in episode 8 when she was looking at all of her reflections.
Mm-hmm.
She's obviously not going to go dark side, but through Darth Sidious' evil plan, she's going to be tempted.
It's misdirection. You know, this is what puts butts in seats in the theaters. And I kind of want to go ahead and just put a pin in something, and or either just squash this bug, this whole Disney thing. You know, we're 5 years in now on Disney having control over Lucasfilm that's putting out movies. At this point, Lucasfilm is making all the decisions. Yeah, Disney is the corporate name above Lucasfilm, but truthfully, this movie, you got the writer and director of The Force Awakens has come back to take over. George Lucas is officially involved in the final stages of production, making sure that everything has been tied together from episode 1 through 9. So I think, for us to continue to say Disney, 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 no, at this point, this is Lucasfilm. I mean, Lucas himself is involved in the reshoots, helped craft a story with Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams. So, let's kind of get past that. Did you even know Lucas was involved?
I did not know, and I also have a question based on your statement you just made. Is Chris Terrio related to Danny Terrio in any way?
I have no clue who Danny Terrio is.
Okay. You old guys, you'll understand what I mean by that. Cheap ploy for attention and a little bit of humor there. No, I didn't know Lucas was involved at all. Okay. You young guys will never get it. Okay, just shut up. Moving on.
Okay.
Regarding the Disney situation, it is still a dead horse to be beaten all over the internet.
I will gladly beat that damn horse.
And there's more dumbasses out there like you that will also beat it to death. So send in the hate mail, drop your negative comments, but, Thomas is right. It is Disney owns it, but Lucasfilm is fully in charge and behind it, and they've been doing good things ever since they took it over. I'm just saying.
And it's just the old conversation 2 years ago, maybe when episode 8 and we had Solo coming up. That might have been a point of a topic of discussion, but I think we're past that, guys. I really think that we need to look beyond and see what's next, and what's coming up next is going to be the ending to the Skywalker saga. What began in 1977, continued in 99, and is now going to be wrapped up. Do you think it's even possible to weave a thread of all 9 of these films and create this huge tapestry that is going to satisfy the fans? Not just the hardcore fans, those of us that have stuck around even after the buyout. But is it still going to meet the expectations of your casual fans and just your overall mainstream moviegoers?
I think the casual fans and mainstream moviegoers really won't care one way or the other. They're going to go take their kids. They're going to take their girlfriend. They're going to take their brother out to the movie. They're going to hang out. They're going to have a good time. And they're probably going to leave the theater satisfied, just like most any of us would. I think your biggest problem is going to come from the hardcore original fan base. And with this, supposedly being a closeout chapter in this whole sequel trilogy, we just got to kind of look at it like with a certain period of disbelief, and maybe I don't want to look at it as its finality, because I believe there's going to be more things to come after this that will add on to this story. But in terms of ending the whole Skywalker saga, I really just hope they go out on a good, positive note. I want fairy tale endings, what I'm looking for.
One thing to think about, it's really the hardcore people that create this big conception of what Star Wars actually is.
And that started in 97.
I'm guilty of it, but if you really look at the prequel trilogy, it's an entirely different approach to Star Wars than the original trilogy was.
Agreed. Yeah.
And Disney, Lucasfilm, whoever, they're only doing the same thing again right now.
Yeah.
It just pisses off some people because...
Well, why would you want 3 versions of the same trilogy? You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
Why remake something in the same vein in which it was already told? If that's the case, just put out another box set. Add another doc to it. Add a scene, some commentary. Don't spend millions of dollars to remake the same story. So I completely agree with you. And I think that, as time has passed since 2005, and now that we're in the middle, about to be the end of the sequel trilogy, I think that there has been a certain air of nostalgia that has come back to strike people in a positive way when we look towards the prequels, whereas just 7 years ago, they were getting shit kicked out of them on every internet chat room, chat group, Facebook page, But now we compare the sequel trilogy again to the original trilogy, and you can't do that. You're comparing apples to oranges. But let's talk about the movie itself now. Let's start to get into some of the things we've seen, where we think characters might be going. More specifically, what do you see being the end of the arc for Rey's story? Her parentage, maybe?
The way I feel about Rey is obvious. She's torn because she feels alone. In episode 7, she was living, was it an X-Wing? A crash X-Wing?
No, she was living in an AT-AT.
She was living in
after
there.
the Battle of Jakku.
She didn't have nobody. She's just basically a junk rat. Well, episode 8, she's struggling again, obviously.
Well, you got to remember the time, there was really no time jump in between those 2 films, unless there was an unannounced time jump between the end of Starkiller base battle and then when she arrived on fucking Michael Skellig Island. The name eludes me right now where Luke Skywalker was at. Octo, yes, thank you.
Well, it's obvious when she was on Octo, the whole that hole in the ground, the wall where she saw all of her reflections, her reaching out with the Force, touching Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
she's really, over the course of both of those movies, and in episode 9, I feel like it'll continue. She's really just trying to find out who she is, even though she's been alongside Han Solo. She's trained with Luke Skywalker. She's still trying to figure out who she is. So, in the trailer, we actually hear Darth Sidious laughing, and he is the master manipulator. He will make you think anything. He did it to Anakin. You hear Darth Vader's breathing in the trailer as well. And this movie, I'm fully expecting Darth Sidious to just try to tempt her over and over and over again. But
in what way now? Are you of the belief that Sidious lived in some form, or are you of the belief that we're talking Force ghosts here? And if so, I don't recall in canon where we've experienced a dark side Force ghost.
Dark side Force ghost, none in canon that we know of. Well, none in canon.
Well, now there might be a slight exception of Darth Bane, in the Clone Wars
Yes.
series. But anyway, go ahead.
It would be awesome if he lived, but that's a little too bizarre to be an actual canon. So I'm going to think, as powerful as he was, someone like him who fooled every single Jedi, why would he not? It would literally be a bad move to not make him be the first Sith or dark side user that has a Force ghost, other than Darth Bane, which was very. It was kind of, if I'm not mistaken, that kind of happened not on Darth Bane choosing for that to happen. Wasn't Yoda?
Yoda entered a Sith temple or ancient Jedi temple,
something like that.
I'm a little fuzzy on that last season of Clone Wars.
To my knowledge, it wasn't started by Darth Bane himself. Yoda kind of caused it.
Okay.
So I'm saying for Darth Sidious, this man is so powerful. Somehow or another, he achieved Force Ghost level. And I'm thinking he used Snoke as a puppet for Kylo Ren. And now he's going to be actually using himself to try to get Rey on the dark side. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I like how you brought Snoke in. I want to say this real quick. So I've wondered for quite a while. We know the extent to which Luke Skywalker can use the light side of the Force to manipulate space, to cast himself on another planet in a different form as people remembered him. Did Snoke really even exist? Or was it a manifestation of Emperor Palpatine showing that to everyone around? Because if Luke could do that, and I'm just going to go ahead and call it right now, there's no way that Luke, even after 30 years of training and hunting the Jedi text, I still don't think he's going to be as powerful as Chief Palpatine ever was.
Hell no.
Well, you got to think about this too. I think that Snoke was a puppet, and I think that looking back on the last two movies that were released, he had a very powerful and dark aura around him, but I believe he was a puppet. Knowing that Palpatine is going to be in this final movie, I believe that as the most powerful dark side user, Palpatine has learned how to, for lack of a better word, turn himself into a Force ghost. When he did die on the Death Star after being thrown by Vader, I think his physical body did die, and now he's living within the Force. But one thing that I'm thinking also is if you go back to Return of the Jedi, now, and I'm talking about both versions, the original version and then again in the special edition version where a lot of CGI and different parts of the story were added in. The original version, Anakin Skywalker appeared in Celebration after the second Death Star was destroyed. His Force Ghost appeared.
Yeah.
In the
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah, and the remake version, Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen version appeared. Now, both of those were technically what you would consider light side Anakin. Okay.
Well, yeah, which is why we didn't see any charring on Hayden Christensen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, which we didn't even see it on Sebastian.
Now,
this episode of Talking Star Wars is sponsored by Amazon. Check the links in the description for a free trial of Audible, the audiobook service where you get an opportunity to check out all those Star Wars legends you've always wondered about. Also, there's a link for Amazon Prime, which will give you free 2-day shipping and access to thousands of movies and television shows. Check them out.
This brings me to my point. If Palpatine, Darth Sidious himself...
You said Sebastian Stan?
I think I said Winter Soldier. I fucked up there.
It's the Winter Soldier?
Yeah, that's the Winter Soldier.
What's his name? Sebastian Shaw?
He's getting around.
I think it was Shaw.
I didn't want to say Sebastian Shaw because that's the leader of the Hellfire Club. It's Kevin Bacon's character in X-Men First Class.
Kevin Bacon.
Fucking the whole podcast.
So are we doing 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon here?
I really wonder. I guarantee there's at least
6 degrees of Chief Palpatine going on. Or
no, you can connect Palpatine to Kevin Bacon
easily.
So we got. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's gonna have to be through Sam Jackson. I would take. Listen, okay, we can play that later.
Sebastian Shaw.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the Inner Circle of Hellfire Club. Okay, so you said something that I kind of want to touch on.
Uh-huh.
So let's think back to the visuals of that first trailer, not the D23 special look. But I guess I have to mix them two together. So when we first saw the trailer, when Luke says no one's ever really dead, no one ever really dies, but do you think that's the Death Star #2? I really believe it is. I believe that what we're going to see on that planet is the remnants of a portion of Death Star 2, because just the circular angle of what's floating in the water, and knowing that Kylo is a Sith collector of artifacts, I thought that's a natural way. This is how we see the Emperor brought in.
It's a full circle type of deal.
But I want to go to that too now. Also, if you look at the visuals in the D23 special look, and you see it's that water planet, the same planet where I'm thinking the Death Star is, and you see Kylo and Rey about to face off, doesn't the imagery in that really kind of mirror what we saw on Mustafar?
Exactly.
Except instead of volcanic lava, we've got water.
Yep.
And, instead of brothers, we've got two, people separated by a galaxy, yet are somehow connected by the cosmic force.
Well, let me tell you, look at this from the perspective of the trailers for each film and as a pure fan reaction, okay? So if you go back to 2015, when the first movie in the sequel trilogy came out, when the trailer came on, Rey's speeder was racing across Jakku, and the Star Destroyer was in the background. And immediately, as a fan, I was thinking, holy shit, look at the sheer size of this thing. But then my second thought was, wow, look how decrepit and harmless it looks now. And we're talking about something that was a major, this is a warship,
Star Destroyers.
Exactly. And now fast forward to this trailer, and you see what looks to be wreckage of what you just said may be the Death Star 2 in the background. It's kind of like foreshadowing. And it's almost like they're taking elements that they've been teasing us with ever since 2015, when the first sequel trilogy came out. Definitely. And they're bringing it full circle here. No different than how they handled Tatooine in the original trilogy and in the prequel trilogy. The planet of Jakku has some kind of certain significance. And those wreckages of the Death Star, if that's what it is, and the Star Destroyers, I think that's going to play a certain part. And I think to a point, the idea of Darth Sidious, and even Darth Vader for that matter, haunting these types of places where all these evil imperial atrocities were orchestrated from.
Okay.
Because think about the different scenes throughout all of the movies in the OT, where you would have Vader looking across the deck out of the bay window of a Star Destroyer, or from Death Star. Palpatine also visiting each one of those things. So to me, this leads me to believe that there might not be a large portion of Darth Sidious in this movie, but it's almost like a haunted house type of thing.
Well, he doesn't need to have a lot of screen time. His presence, it's already been felt. Just in the trailer, the poster, which is dramatically different than what else has been put out previously for promo material. But yeah, I don't think he needs a lot of screen time. I think just the idea of wrapping him as the bookend to this whole saga is going to play a large part indirectly how he affects the characters in it. And you brought up the Star Destroyers, so I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Star Destroyers. If you look at the D23 special look, there's actually a scene. There's an entire field in a perfect array of classic, original trilogy era, Imperial era Star Destroyers. Now, let me just throw something out there. Okay, is this a vision? If not, were these just lying in wait, not used by the First Order, which I don't see that happening? Or is this the Lost Fleet that we saw at the end of Rebels Season 4?
Haven't even seen Rebels Season 4, so I couldn't even expand on that. What I think this is, I think, so it's the perfect tie-in from Episode 8. Luke is now a Force ghost. We can confidently say that. And Palpatine, we're speculating, but I'm firm by that he is a Force ghost as well. I'm thinking we've never seen this before. Somehow or another, there's going to be this epic Force space battle, okay? Because it's OT era.
That would be cool.
OT era light side vehicles, OT era dark side vehicles.
That would be cool.
Okay.
Or spaceships. And you can see the Corvettes in the Rebel fleet.
Yeah.
It's the classic Imperial Star Destroyers. I really feel like both of those are going to go head to head. Maybe because they're not going to just kick Luke out of the whole situation now. It's the last movie. He's going to play some part of it, and he's a Force ghost, so he's going to play it through that as much as he can through that. And I feel like Palpatine would do the same thing. So that's what I'm thinking.
So, and I've heard a lot online. There's a lot of speculation that kind of breaking character on what we've seen in the movies thus far with the first 8 episodes. And this was going to be pretty heavy with flashbacks. I've even heard that, besides the fact that we could potentially see OT era ships, that we will have flashbacks to a time after Return of the Jedi, before The Force Awakens, where we see Luke back at, of course, the planet where he was raising the Jedi. And we'll go back to that same moment from what I've heard online, where after Kylo destroys the Jedi training facility and he leaves, we're supposed to see more of Luke's memories back then. But also, and this was kind of leaked early on in the production of Episode 8, it was believed that we were going to see Luke and Leia training. Him training her as a Jedi, which would have explained the whole Carrie Poppins situation in space. Her traveling through and fighting the vacuum of space. But it's thought that it's going to be a flashback in Episode 9. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about the use of flashbacks in the film? Is it going to happen? And is it needed to wrap up the whole story? Or is this just internet bullshit?
No, I think you need it. I think there's too many gaps in time, and there's too many loose ends that couldn't be tied up with a linear story. You're going to need some sort of flashback, some sort of way to bring different parts for each character in. I mean, Jesus, Lando's in this motherfucker.
Yeah,
they're bringing Lando. This is what I'm looking for. I mean, I'm a Jedi guy, man, but Lando fucking Calrissian, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay,
so,
but what? But how long is he going to be alive?
But yeah, but wait a minute. I don't know.
Fucking Solo. They're going to pull Han Solo.
I have not been reading the comics. I've been purposely staying away from all this internet bullshit. But Lando, where's this motherfucker been the whole time? And what has the Playboy been doing?
He's probably been banging robots.
Yeah.
For 30 plus years.
Okay, so what's crazy to me, how is he wearing the same fucking suit that Donald Glover wore as Lando? Like, I mean,
when you got style, you got style, son.
No, he does got style. I think he is probably the smoothest, swaggiest fucking Star Wars character. But this is a guy, obviously he doesn't change wardrobe much, and when he does, he steals his fucking best friend's outfit.
Why not?
But what is Lando really going to add to this? What do you see his role as in this movie? Besides fan service.
Fan service?
Yeah.
You fucking serious, bro?
Look, okay, you kill off Han Solo. Strike one.
Yeah, okay.
You kill, Leia dies. Excuse me, Carrie Fisher dies. Okay. So, you rest in peace, Carrie. But, strike fucking two, you kill off Luke Skywalker.
I know.
I mean, are we about to fucking strike out here or what?
Okay, so speculation. If Lando does die, he's dying in a kamikaze fucking attack.
That's what I'm thinking.
He ain't going out like a
I'm
punk.
thinking Lando is going to be the space taxi.
Yeah,
basically.
okay. I'm going to put a little asterisk beside what you just said, and besides the asterisk, see Admiral Akbar. He should have had Holdo's position. Yeah. But that's a different fucking podcast.
Agreed.
It was a waste of a great character. All right. Wrap things up now. The movie's title itself, The Rise of Skywalker. We're going to go around. I want you to share, what do you think this title implicates?
I'll go first. Obviously, all 9 movies are about the Skywalkers, okay? And the Rise of Skywalker for the last movie obviously means somehow or another the Skywalkers are going to win. Their story is going to conclude, and I'm thinking it'll be Rey, because Luke's story was kind of, it's not ended, but it was put at an abrupt stop with him dying and becoming a Force ghost. But I'm thinking Rey somehow or another is going to end the Skywalker saga completely. Maybe she defeats Kylo Ren. Maybe she defeats the Emperor. I don't know. Another thing, Kylo Ren is a Solo.
Yeah.
And his mom is a Skywalker.
She's an Organa.
But she's a birth Skywalker. So maybe they will, if they can explain it enough for the casual people, wrap up the Skywalker saga through Kylo Ren.
That's the hurdle.
I don't know about all that. I don't know. I don't think Kylo Ren's going to play a part like that in it at all. I think that the general view is what you just said, that Rey's going to come up and she's going to be the Skywalker. But I look at it from the point of the family name itself. I mean, all 9 movies are legitimately the Skywalker saga. All 9 movies. So the way I'm looking at it is I'm saying that when this movie ends, supposedly being the last movie in the sequel trilogy and the last to have anything to do with the Skywalkers, it's going to end on a high note where the family name has been dragged through the freaking mud by Anakin. Again, taken a crap on by Luke whenever he kind of left everybody high and dry and went into exile. And now Rey's coming through and being the most pure of heart out of all of them, and obviously the most powerful. Yeah. That she is going to give glorification to the Skywalker family name. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen now.
Okay, that's pretty profound. You know, you Matt, thinking that the Rise of Skywalker means essentially the end of Skywalker, and you, Steve, seeing that Rey is going to take up the helm of the title of Skywalker and take it and ascend it. I got a totally different view on it. So I think in my situation, I got to go back with what Rian Johnson left us with, the last thing we saw in The Last Jedi.
That boy with the broom?
And I'm not saying specifically him, but yeah, you're on track, okay? I think the Rise of Skywalker, I think Skywalker is going to become what a title of sorts, like, you know, Jedi Master, Sith Lord, Knight of Ren, because, you know, Kylo being a Knight of Ren himself.
Skywalker could be like the title of Captain America.
Yes.
As a hero title.
I see Skywalker as a movement of people. Force users who are understanding that there's more than what they've seen, more than what they've been told, and are beginning to rise up against the injustices in the galaxy. But that's just me. I could be totally
that makes perfect
fucking
sense.
wrong.
I like that.
That makes perfect sense. Look, maybe Rey could build off of what Luke Skywalker tried to do with his Jedi Academy. Yeah. Maybe Rey takes that over, and that's the Rise of Skywalker.
Maybe the Jedi are dead, but maybe the Skywalkers are the new incarnation.
That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with it. And listen, and I say that because I want to go back to what we started with as we wrap things up. You know, I do want to kind of just squash the whole Disney topic, but it was alluded to several years ago that one of Disney's plans was to phase out in current canon, moving forward in the timeline, was to phase out the titles of Jedi and the titles of Sith so that we could further explore what happens in that galaxy far, far away. That wraps up another Talking Star Wars.
Hit us up online at honortheforce.com and all social media outlets at Honor the Force.
When Star Wars happens,
we'll be there.